Welcome to Fantasy Booking. This is the series where I show how I would book an angle or a wrestler or even a pay-per-view. Today, we will be looking into how I would book Rhea Ripley's main roster debut. This is arguably the worst missed opportunity for WWE this year, since they made a NXT main eventer into an afterthought. Lots of people criticize the outcome of the Charlotte Flair vs Rhea Ripley Wrestlemania match, saying that this loss is what quote-unquote buried Ripley. I would like to differ, since I think sending Charlotte to NXT was a good decision. However, I think that the way they booked Ripley after that was stupid. Alright, my turn. We begin at WrestleMania 36. The same match takes place between Ripley and Flair. I would also have Flair win, but I would change the finish. Ripley doesn't tap, but rather gets pinned by Flair after 2 natural selections. Charlotte moves to the NXT to elevate the women's division there, and Ripley moves over to Smackdown for now. She cuts a promo about how she is here to show the Smackdown women's division what the Nightmare can do. Lacey Evans comes out and says that Ripley is nothing more than a fever dream. The match is made for Money in the Bank. Ripley wins in dominating fashion. Also, Asuka wins the Money in the Bank briefcase and in turn wins the Raw Women's Championship. The next night, Tamina comes out and attacks Ripley. She says that if Ripley considers herself a nightmare, and if she thinks that she is the most dominant woman in WWE, she has to go through Tamina. They are booked to have a match at Backlash. This is much bigger challenge for Rhea, but after hitting Tamina with a big boot and then Riptide, Rhea pins Tamina to win the match. Also, Sasha Banks and Bayley retain their tag team championships as well. The following Raw, Tamina says that Ripley's win over Tamina was a total fluke and she demands a no DQ match at Extreme Rules. Ripley accepts the match as always. At the pay-per-view, they have a very brutal match that Ripley also wins. Also, Asuka and Sasha have the same match, except that Sasha wins, with the distraction from Bayley. Next comes the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. This is also Rhea Ripley's biggest opportunity yet, since she would be challenging Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is after she won a triple threat match against Natalya and Evans. On the other hand, Asuka faces Sasha for the Raw Women's Championship. At the event, Bayley manages to roll up and steal a win against Ripley after a distraction by Sasha. However, when Bayley tries to distract Asuka so that Sasha can roll her up, Asuka reverses the roll-up and steals the win herself. Asuka is once again the Raw Women's Champion. A week later, Sasha Banks and Bayley lose their Women's Tag Championship to Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax on Payback. This is when Bayley beats up and turns her back on Sasha Banks. The Golden Role Models break up after losing the tag titles. On the following SmackDown, Rhea demands another match for the SmackDown Women's Championship since Bayley had to win with a distraction and roll-up. The match is made for Clash of Champions. Bayley says that she doesn't need that weak Sasha Banks, and that she can defend the title all by herself. At Clash of Champions, after Bayley poked Rhea in the eyes, she started getting ready to hit Rhea with a Bayley to Bayley when Sasha's music hit. This allowed Rhea to hit the big boot to win the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley does get a rematch at a SmackDown, but Ripley wins clean. This sets up Bayley vs Sasha in a Hell in a Cell match, and Ripley vs Naomi for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ripley retains her title after a good match and Sasha and Bayley have the same match as it actually took place, with Sasha winning. Also, after dropping the NXT Women's Championship to Io Shirai, Charlotte returns to Raw and challenges Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. She does manage to win the championship at Hell in a Cell. Ripley retains her title after a good match and Sasha and Bayley have the same match as it actually took place, with Sasha winning. Next up is Survivor Series. The month of brand warfare. A match is made between Charlotte and Ripley for the champion versus champion match. Ripley says that Charlotte might have pinned her at WrestleMania, but she has grown over the last few months and she will definitely win this time. However, you can see that Ripley is also not 100% herself, she is not fully confident in herself. This comes to haunt her at Survivor Series, as Charlotte makes her tap out after getting her in the figure eight. After the match, while Charlotte is celebrating, the camera shows Rhea Ripley on the side, looking completely broken inside. This starts a losing streak for the Nightmare. After this, it is seen that Rhea has lost the X Factor that won her the women's title. You can see that she has lost her confidence after losing to the Queen twice. This loss in confidence is one of the reasons that when Baszler faces Ripley for the title at TLC, it is more of a one-sided battle. She loses the title to Baszler in a dominating match. Even Shayna seems confused about what happened to the Nightmare. At Royal Rumble, Ripley gets her rematch but loses again in another one-sided fight. Following this, she enters the Rumble, but after 10 minutes, she is thrown out of the Rumble by the eventual winner, Bianca Belair. No eliminations for Ripley. She has lost all matches following her loss to Charlotte, including pay-per-view matches and Smackdown matches. The Nightmare feeling of Ripley is finally fading. Following this, Ripley is put in the Elimination Chamber match along with Naomi, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Asuka, and the recently called-up, Candice LeRae. The week before Elimination Chamber, Candice goes to Ripley in an backstage segment and says that she will be looking forward to facing Ripley at Elimination Chamber. Ripley states that she is not, since she does not think she can win. When LeRae asks why, Ripley replies that she is not good enough to win against such good wrestlers. And also if she does win, she cannot defeat Charlotte. That's when LeRae slaps Ripley, and says that this is not the Ripley that she knows. If she lets the loss against Charlotte haunt her and put her down, Ripley might as well go away cause she will never accomplish anything again. Instead, she advises Ripley to put her shit together and win the chamber match to show Charlotte what the Nightmare can actually do. Ripley hugs LeRae and says that she is right. In the chamber match, the eliminations take place in the following order. Ripley eliminates Sasha, LeRae eliminates Bayley, LeRae eliminates Naomi, Ripley eliminates Asuka. It comes down to Ripley and LeRae. Ripley shouts, "Don't you dare go easy on me." LeRae replies, "I won't, Miss Nightmare." After a stellar 10-minute fight, Ripley hits a big boot to pin LeRae and win a shot at Charlotte's title at WrestleMania. After the match, LeRae and Ripley hug and LeRae raises Ripley's hand. The next Raw, Ripley calls out Charlotte and says that she respects Charlotte. She won twice against Ripley in fair manner and was the better woman. But this led to the demise of Ripley. So, she will defeat Charlotte at WrestleMania and show her what the Nightmare is really capable of. After that, Charlotte speaks about how Ripley will never defeat the Queen and how she is 2 steps ahead of her at every turn, while Ripley just smiles. Charlotte asks why she is just smiling and not saying anything. Rhea says, "I will let my boots do the talking for me at WrestleMania," and then walks away. Charlotte looks confused. At WrestleMania, after a brutal 25-minute physical match, Ripley makes Charlotte tap out to win the Raw Women's Championship. Also, Bianca defeats Baszler to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion. This is it. This is how I would book Rhea Ripley's main roster debut and her first year on the main brands. Let me know if you enjoyed it and what to fantasy book next in the comment section below. Be sure to like, share and subscribe, that will help out the channel a lot. Thanks again. See you in the next one.